All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, give it all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Gwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. I am your brother M.O.T.B, and this lesson is going to be entitled Australia's Senate passes digital ID bill, another step closer to the M.O.T.B. And so what you see here from the mandarin.com.au, all right, which is a article published Thursday as of March 28, 2024. Okay, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And as you can see here, the title, Digital ID Bill Passes Senate. All right, so these Edomites, they're working overtime. Okay, so I just wanted to go through this article really quickly, get a few precepts. All right, we're going to get some video, and also we're going to grab some other websites to show you the seriousness, okay, of the times that we're in. Okay, as the scripture says, the devil will come down upon us, have a great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time. All right, that's Revelation 12:12. Okay, so with everything ramping up, all right, and we're still, just about to finish up the Feast of Unleavened Bread, all right, which this is a time reflecting on what happened to our parents, all right, our forefathers, going back into the time of ancient Egypt, but also more so analyzing and examining ourselves to, make sure that we have no leavening within us, all right, and that we show, brotherly love, all right, towards one another. But nevertheless, all right, let's get into this article. So it says here, it's only taken 2 decades, but Australia is officially on the path to having a national government regulated digital identity scheme to replace the hoarding of vast amounts of personally and financially sensitive data by banks, insurers, utilities, and agencies now being routinely hacked. Now, before we read the rest of this, one little thing I want to take from this first paragraph here is, notice they said that Australia has officially, been declared on the path to having a national government regulated. Now, what you have to understand is, remember, there was a lady, all right, let's come over here because I'm going to play it, named Pippa Milgram, all right, at the World Economic Forum Committee, okay? And Pippa Milgram, all right, she spoke on digital currency at the World Government Summit in Dubai, all right? So what I would like to do, and Lord's will, they don't take this down, but what I would like to actually go into is showcasing this actual video, because I've actually played this video before, but it hits home even more so now because of not only the times that we're in, but everything that, this devil has been coming out with. All right. So fair use. All right. Fair use, copyright section 107, fair use. All right. And Lord's will, you can hear this video.
Underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in 71. And so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europe.
Right, because you have something that's BRICS, I believe. Let's come over here really quickly. I believe BRICS has a what's called, let's see here, BRICS digital currency. Right. So it says here Russia has accelerated its plans for digital currencies which operate outside the control of international regulators. The Central Bank of Russia has been working to create the long discussed central bank digital currency, the digital ruble, which is expected to enter into circulation in 2025. But I believe, right here we go right here. BRICS will create payment system based on this. So they moving, right? Let's see here real quick. So they're moving. It says the BRICS grouping will create a payment system based on blockchain. The effort is part of a specific task for this year to increase the role of BRICS in the international monetary system. And really, this is their goal because they no longer want to rely on the paper dollar, the petrodollar. All right. But just wanted to throw that in. So back here, real quick, we get back to the article.
Europeans have committed to that as well. And the question is, will that new system of digital money and digital accounting accommodate the competing needs of the citizens of all these locations so that every human being has a chance to have a better life? Because
and see, that's what they, overall, that's what they're trying to do. All right. Now, this was back in the summit of Dubai in 2022, right? So let's come back to the article. So I'm going to read this again. It says it's only taken 2 decades, but Australia is officially on the path to having a national government regulated, all right, digital identity scheme to replace the hoarding of vast amounts of personally and financially sensitive data by banks, insurers, utilities, and agencies now being routinely hacked. The Albanese government, all right, which goes back to Prime Minister Albanese himself, finally secured the required support for enabling legislation for the digital ID system in the Senate from the coalition and the Greens on Wednesday, after making concessions on safeguards and bank access to the new scheme, which will toughen privacy and speed up access to financial institutions and their client. Banks, through the domestic payments network Australian Payment Plus, had wanted to modify the proposed digital ID legislation to circumvent the explicit prohibition on the use of racial markers, horrifying some stakeholders and policymakers. The big got short shrift, although the government conceded to allowing banks and private businesses expedited, supposedly faster access to the phase rolled out of the Australian government digital ID system down to 2 years from 4. Okay. Because, hey, he has but a short time. Okay. And also the scriptures talk about, if the Lord didn't speed up the days, there would be no flesh left to be saved, man. Okay. So they understand and they're trying to forward their new world order, man. And that's why the beloved Elder Apostle Tahar deemed this year, 2024, as the year of Jacob's trouble, because we hope that everything happens, okay, according to this year, man. Like, Esau, just come with it, man. Just push the button already, right? But it goes on to say, still, it is clear the government intends to run the digital ID show. Banks are keen as mustard to flip the current model of the wholesale fees of around 70 cents per identity verification check flowing to the government under the document verification service for gateway providers back to financial institutions so they can monetize the ID checks for regulated transactions. In other words, you no longer have your privacy is taken away, basically. They are going to have full access on your transactions. All right. So they can monetize the ID checks for regulated transactions. So they know who's making, what money's coming in and what money's going out, basically. It says Australia Post has been an early entrant into this market as a credential provider, but it is unclear where the Labor government intends to head with the state-backed retail credential as banks try to offload access to cash and over-the-counter transactions on Australia Post in the absence of a universal service obligation for cash, like has been imposed in the UK under the legislation right to cash. And see, the problem is they are trying to figure out how to not let the masses of the people know that they want to do away with cash. That's why we have this high inflation, because Esau really wants to crash the economy to bring in this digital currency, right? Because the US is so much in debt right now. The only way for them to really that debt, in order for that debt to be clear, they just have to not even clear, but they have to just start everything over on a clean slate. And the only way they can do that is they have to fully crash the economy and bring in a new monetary system, which is going to be on a digital basis. All right. That's the reason why you have something that's called Industrial Revolution 4.0. You in the age of technology. So it says after the Optus Medibank and Challenger hacks and mass data exfiltrations, both banks and the government are bracing for the next wave of scams and identity fraud to hit at a weaponized scale after a key Russian ransomware operator was officially sanctioned under international law. And notice the key player into all of this, they keep throwing things at Russia. Okay. Notice that. So it says digital ID makes it safer and easier for Australians to prove who they are online. You see that? You see how they just threw that in there? Finance Minister Katie Gallagher said, right? It says Australians will be sharing less personal information, which is held by fewer organizations that are subject to stronger regulation, reducing the chance of identity theft alone. And this is how they're going to sell it. Okay. Hey, the scripture says, all right, let's grab that real quick. Let's get what's that? 2 Corinthians 2:11. We should all know what that one by now. All right. 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay, let's pull that up. The word devices in the Greek.
Strong's G 3540. Naima.
Okay, it says a mental perception, thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, thoughts or purposes. And the scripture says they accomplish a diligent search. They search iniquity. All right. Because what they're going to do is they're going to try to spin it and say this is for your own safety, to stop identity theft and everything. But yet they're not telling you that really they are dragging you into what's called a slave system. All right. And we're going to show you through the scriptures, man. Okay. We best believe me. We're going to show you. All right. So this is why the scripture says in the Apocrypha, all right, because how are they going to be able to do this? Where they just passed the law right now in the Apocrypha. Okay. Let's bring this over here. Let's go here. Let's open this up and let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Let's see here. I think it's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and right around the 10th verse. Actually, verse 11. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and 11, it says, let our strength be the law of justice. This is where they excel. Okay. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Okay. So they strengthen themselves on a basis of passing what the scriptures calls unrighteous decrees. Okay. Executive orders. All right. For instance, if we come back over here, let's get the book of Isaiah, chapter 10. Okay. And verse 1, which says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So Esau already had this written, okay, already had this drawn up because they knew they wanted to pass this, man. Okay, you have something going way back to 2015 that the Rockefeller Foundation, they wrote a whole book, okay, about digital identity, man, and what they wanted to do in the near future. Okay. It says, verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless, man. And this is what they're doing. Okay. Because now with this digital currency, what people don't understand is this is going to basically keep, beginning with the top banking elite, all on top. They're going to take everybody's wealth away. There's not going to be no middleman. You're not going to have different classes like it's been, where you have a high class, a middle class, and a low class. There's going to only be a high class and then a low class. There's not going to be a middleman. All right. And people, and people have to understand that, man, especially our people. Right. So let's come back. It says, a statement issued by Gallagher said digital ID is just one of the ways the government is responding to the increase in third-party data breaches. Alongside the National Strategy on Identity Resilience, funding for the ACCC's National Anti-Scam Center, the introduction of the Identity Verification Services Act 2023, continued reforms to the Privacy Act and the government's Cybersecurity Strategy 2023 to 2030. Because remember, you have something that's called the 2030. Let's go here. Digital ID 2030, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, here it is right here. From So, digital ID in a new era of data protection. All right. It says here, the continuing evolution of digital economy across the globe. All right. Remember, Revelation 3 and 10 should come to mind, the hour of temptation, which should try everyone around the world. When you go into that Greek word for world, is oinkymene, which is every single living inhabitant across the four corners of the earth. But it goes on to say, and at the national level requires individuals to be able to assert their identity in order to participate in the digital economy. Do you see that? Okay. Is right there. They're openly telling you now. Now, what do we have here? Look at this. This is from Switzerland, Geneva. Okay. And this is where they hold, really, both in Geneva and Davos, but this is where they hold the G7 summits and also the World Economic Forum Committee. So they're openly telling you, okay, that the masses will be able to assert their identity in order to participate in that digital economy. So in other words, you will not be able to get down unless you lay down. Okay. It goes on to say the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals provide the ambitious target that all people will be able to obtain a legal identity by 2030. So you see how it's all coming together. Okay. You see how all of this is coming together, man. Right? Let's get a precept. Let's come back over here. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2. All right. Because see, the prophets, beginning with the apostles, bishops, and elders on down, they've been telling you, man. All right. I'm going to start at the top. It says, I will stand upon my watch. All right. Because we have been set up as watchmen. This is our job. This is the duty of a prophet. And set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Remember, the scripture says in 2 Esdras, the 9th chapter, measure thou diligently, okay, the signs itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then, okay, it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, this is us measuring the time that we're in. So it says here in verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. All right, the tables today represents the scriptures, that he may run that readeth it. All right, and it tells you in Revelation 1 and 3, blessed is he that readeth. Right, so it says verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Right, it's for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And this is one of the ways, okay, how we can tell through the spirit that we are at the end of this thing, man, because it's speaking. The prophecy is speaking, right? and not lie. You see, because you still have some Jakes out here that think that this is not going to happen in their time, but it's happening now as we speak. It says, though it tarry, right? Because it seemed like it's taking its sweet ass time, right? Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, speaking of Esau, Edom, is not upright in him, but the what? Just shall live by his faith. All right. And Lord's will, I'm a part of that number and the rest of the Akim. Okay. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect. Right. But here's the point that I want to get at. Verse 5. It says, yea, also, Salakia, because he transgresseth by wine. Okay. And what is that wine? It goes into his philosophies. Okay. The things that he puts out on the masses. All right. His, indoctrination and his churches. Okay. His pseudoscience, all of that falls under wine, basically his false philosophies that he's spewing across the four corners of the earth. It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied. But what does he do? But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And that's exactly what he's doing today. Let's read that in a different translation. NLT says, wealth is treacherous and the arrogant are never at rest. They open their mouths as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many peoples. You see? And this is how they're going to do it, okay? Thinking that when they establish their new world order, they're going to strip and rip everything from the masses of the people. Now, remember, Klaus Schwab said it himself that you will own nothing and be happy about it. He said that, remember? Right? So coming back to this article, and I just looked this up. I didn't know this was going to come up. So, hey, call Halayim Yahweh Shemiel Shah. But this says the international community, both public and private sectors, right, are mobilizing efforts to address this issue, right? I didn't know it was an issue, all right? It says users will participate in the digital economy if they trust that their digital transactions and data will be secure and free from misuse. One of the biggest challenges is to enable digital identity at the same time as ensuring data protection. You see this? You see where this is going? So there it is, man. Now, let's come over here because this is Australia's digital ID system. All right, so let's take a listen. Yeah, Salakia, I didn't share the tab. Let's take that back. Salakia on my part. Here we go.
In a world where cybersecurity is top of mind, the digital ID system safeguards your personal information and saves you time when you need to verify your ID online. Australia's digital ID system brings together government and industry digital IDs that meet strong privacy and security standards. This will mean more secure digital ID options for you to choose from and more ways for you to use them. So why not join some of the millions of people already verifying their ID through Australia's digital ID system?
You see how they trying to sell it, man. This is what's going on. And Australia, I believe, being in this country from some time now, this is the testing ground because this is coming, okay, to Babylon the Great, America. This is coming. Okay. Mark my words, man. This is coming. It's all being put together, man, as we speak. So let's come back over here to the article. Okay, so we've done that. We understand the goal was to 2030, but they're trying to speed it up now because they know they have but a short time. All right. And it's not them speeding it up. It's actually Yahweh Shemiel Shah speeding it up because let's go and grab that precept. Let's come back over here. Let's get Matthew, the 24th chapter. Okay. Matthew 24 and around. Let's see here. Matthew 24 and verse 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, Salakia, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay. So Yahweh Shemiel Shah is speeding things up. Okay. Based upon prophecy, what we read here, man. Okay. So coming back over here, it says the minister dutifully criticized the opposition. But in reality, there is now almost no federal political opposition to the digital ID legislation. Now that increasing numbers of people and organizations are being extorted and looted often before they realize it. And the reason why that's been going on, and now I'm speaking as a man here, you have to understand how Esau Edom moves, man. All right. The scripture says here, they accomplish a diligent search. Let's get that in Psalms, right? All right. Psalm 64:6. They search out iniquities and they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay. And when you pay attention to what's going on with all of these false flags, okay, all of these distractions, okay, now here in Australia, and I believe the beloved brother Yashar from GMS down under Australia, he can vouch for me on this. We had a big outage about a year or two ago dealing with Optus network going down. And also one of the banks here in Australia went down. Okay, now you got to think everything that they're doing, all right, to try to roll this in, all right, Esau, all right, he's going to do stuff to try to manipulate the system, all right, cause a problem, and then give you the solution to the problem, right? That's been his whole model, man. Okay, cause the chaos, okay, or bring the chaos, all right, and then you give a solution to the masses of the people, okay, for that that chaos that was caused. So all of these little things that's been happening in the last 2 to 3 years has been, you know, set up to implement this system of them putting it into place. Hey, remember, even going back to the pandemic, what did Yuval Harari stated? You know, never let a good crisis go to waste, man. You see that? So now I want to turn your attention, all right, to, you know, Catherine Austin Fitts, all right, which, you know, I like a lot of her things because, you know, this particular Edomite, she's just, hey, as the scripture says, they should make their own tongues to fall upon themselves, man. Okay. Now watch what she says. Make sure we're sharing it. Yep. Cool. Let's get it.
Of central bank explained that with CBDC as a replacement or a digital currency, they can make the rules of how the currency is used and they can enforce the rules centrally. Let that sit in centrally.
So they can make the rules and they can force the rules centrally. That's on a global scale. Okay. Pay very close attention.
So one great activist said that the implementation of the passports is the end of human liberty in the West, and that is in fact true if we let this control grid go in. Robert F. Kennedy says you can't stop tyranny by complying. And so what I ask you, we cannot comply with the mandates. We cannot comply with the passports. We cannot comply with any part of a financial control grid, whether they, you know, they change the name from passports and do it with biometrics and ID, whichever way they do it.
And see what she doesn't understand is this is the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? Now the scripture says, okay, let's get what's that? Proverbs 21:1. Okay, it says the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is setting up Esau, using Esau to bring in this digital currency and overall to bring in the M.O.T.B, which is the RFID microchip. And if you want to get, you know, more technical with it, it's not Esau's C-hip. It's actually Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai C-hip, man, because that's going to be the ultimate hour of temptation. Let's grab that in Revelation, the 3rd chapter. Okay. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right? Luke 21:19, in thy patience possess ye your souls, right? It says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. And what is that hour of temptation? Taking that RFID micro C-hip. You're going to be tempted, okay, as the scripture says, he that loveth this life shall lose it, but he that loseth his life for my name's sake shall find it. And what's one way of you losing your life? By taking that chip, man. Because you take that C-hip, it's game over. Pursuant to Revelation, the 14th chapter, verses 9 and 10. You're gonna drink the wine of wrath. So you're gonna be tempted, because without being plugged into the system, without taking that charagma, okay, you will not be able to participate in society. As the scripture says in Revelation 13 chapter, you will not be able to buy or sell. So you're going to be tempted. So let me read this again. Revelation 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see? So we're all going to be tested, man, when this day comes. All right. And it's fastly approaching as we speak. So let's come back over here.
So this is the fight for freedom and liberty. And what I will tell you again as an investment advisor, most of our wealth in the West comes from the benefits of freedom. And when you give away freedom, you give away anything. When the World Economic Forum says it's 2030 and you have no assets and you're happy, what I hear is it's 2030. We have stripped you of your assets, which may include stripping you of your children and your mind control.
You know, notice what she said there. Okay. Because they already putting it in schools where they're setting up. We have something out here in Australia called catching on. Okay. Look that up, catching on. And in this catching on is where they send out nurses and stuff to schools to teach year levels as young as let's say pre-kindergarten all the way up until high school. And you have they teach them about the alphabet community, how it's okay to be with the same gen, okay, a transformer, right? Look it up, catching on. Okay, that's going on out here in this country now. I can't speak for back home in the US, but I know being here in Australia, that's what they're doing. Okay, and you being a parent, all right, if you testify against your child not wanting to participate, then what they do is they get a psychiatrist involved, and then they look at you as the parent as being negligent towards your child's learning. Do you see where this is going? Hey, the scripture says this. Let's get a precept real quick. Okay, Isaiah the 24th chapter. All right, see this devil. Hey, man, we in some wicked times, man. Isaiah 24, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. The point is at verse 5. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because what? They have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, man. And that's what Esau done when he came into power. He turned everything, flipped everything upside down. Right? Scripture says, let's get that real quick. Isaiah 29 and 16, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Because Esau is proud at the end of the day, man. Okay. He's sitting up here taking everything that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has set up and given order to, okay, and he's flipped it upside down, trying to make it seem like, no, Lord, you're wrong. Okay, it needs to be like this. Okay, no, we need to do this. Right? No, the regular meat, okay, from the animals is not good for human consumption. No, we're going to take 3D printed meat, which is better for your consumption. This is what this devil is doing. And this is why the scripture says, let's get Psalms, the 10th chapter. Let's bring it out. All right. Psalms 10:3, for the wicked boasted of his heart's desire. This is what these devils desire to do. And blessed the covetous whom Yahweh abhorreth. In other words, detested. Verse 4, for the wicked, who was the wicked? Malachi 1:4, Esau, Edom, through what? The pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Why? For Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is not in all his thoughts. This is the reason why they want to take the Bible away. This is the reason why they had a matter of fact. Let's pull it up here. Let's come over here. Let's see here if I can find that article real quick. AI to rewrite the Bible. Yeah, here you go. From the Australian Associated Press. All right. Bonkers Bible claim twist author's words. Now, here's what they claim. A senior war economic forum official has called for the Bible to be rewritten using artificial intelligence. Our verdict, false. The comments in question were made by an author, not a WEF advisor, and he did not say the Bible should be rewritten. Now, there was a actual article, I believe, on what's that site? And no, not End Time Head News, the People's Voice.tv, because I remember this. All right. And there's Klaus Schwab. All right. And you know, they got their little fact checkers or whatever the case may be. But to show you how they're lying about this, look what's going on over there in Canada. Canada has come out with a law where you can't even teach the Bible. You know, and I'm just using this as an example. All right. And this is Esau's, you know, trying to control the algorithm and the narrative, man. Okay. But you're losing the narrative, right? So let's come back over here. Let me read that again. Psalms 10:4, the wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. You see? So, hey, you can't trust this devil. Now, check this out. Now, this is from the World Economic Forum website. All right. And as you can see, when you see this little line going across those 3 O's, it represents 666, man. Okay. Showing you right in front of your face who these people are. Now, I was able to come and I found this will and I went into cybersecurity. Right now, here, if you look down where my cursor is, it says the digital economy. So if you click on that, now check this out. Over here on the right side of the screen, it says the disruption caused by the fourth industrial revolution was accelerated by, you see it, okay, increasing the need for agility, adaptability, Salakia, and positive transformation. Remember, never let a good Christ go to waste. It says, why do you keep doing that, Salakia? It says, as the global economy rapidly digitalizes, an estimated 70% of new value created over the coming decade will be based on digitally enabled platform-based or platform business models. However, nearly 2.7 billion people still lack access to the internet. Now you understand why Bill Gates was going around, all right, giving the serpent juice all worldwide, man, even in communities that didn't have no identity, right? Think about it. It says digital technologies have the potential to enable new value for everyone, but they risk further exacerbating exclusion, the unequal concentration of power and wealth, and social instability. And companies must use digital infrastructure and data to collaborate, develop innovative business models, navigate disruption, and transition to a new normal. You see that? New normal, post-pandemic, all right? Purpose-driven, sustainable, and inclusive. That's why they called it what? The global reset. Now, what I did was, where did I go? I came over here. Let me just try to find it. Okay, so I came over here to where it says digital identity. I remember clicking on that. All right. Now it says having a trusted, verifiable identity is essential. Okay, they telling you it's essential. As digital interaction increases at unprecedented rate, the information comprising our identities is being widely shared in ways that create both risks and opportunities. If designed right, digital identities can provide significant economic value, save hundreds of billions of hours through streamlined e-government, and cut trillions of dollars in costs for businesses. For the roughly 1 billion people going without official proof of identity and the more than 3 billion people unable to effectively use an identity on digital channels. Collaborative and user-centric digital identity models guided by shared principles can be empowering. For who? Empowering for who? Because we're not empowered by it. You see, right? Like, come on, man. Now, when you go through, let me see. Just try to find it. That was the digital economy. Because these devils here, man. Oh, let me see. I found it. Economic. No, not that one. Global. Let's see. European Union. Okay, here we go. Financial and monetary systems. Now, when you click on that, check this out. It says the management of financial and monetary systems is intimately connected to global risk in the form of potential market meltdowns, right? Spiraling inflation, pandemics, and heightening geopolitical tension. In the wake of the global financial crisis more than a decade ago, populist movements cast doubt on existing monetary institutions, and critics question efforts made by central banks to set the right course for markets. See that? Now, these same institutions are being relied upon to help keep international financial waters calm. This is why all of this is happening, man. Now, when you come here and you go to central bank digital currencies, it says the use of the central bank digital currency, CBDC, is being explored in 130 countries, representing 98% of the globe GDP. This follows exponential growth in interest in recent years as of 2020. All right. And what was the year 2020? You already know what time it is. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Only 35 countries were considering CBDC. It says these are a digital form of money distinct from cryptocurrency and stable coins because they are issued by a central bank. Man, come on with it, man. It says a CBDC is not a replacement for cash, okay, which is bullshit because the end game is when the economy crash, the dollar's not going to be no good. So how can it not be a replacement for cash? Because the ultimate goal is to have everybody see him, man, because your money is going to be on those CHIPs. So to sit up there and say that the central banking digital currency is not a replacement for cash, that's BS. It says, but it is meant instead to be a complement and new tool for the digital future. Right? You mean to really tell me that if it's not to replace cash, what are you going to do with the people that don't decide to use currency in a digital matter, but they still want to use cash? You see, you got to watch these devils, man. Hey, the scripture says, let's get a precept. All right, Job. Like, come on, man. Esau. See, catching these devils, Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Right? Now, the scriptures also says here, Psalms 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Yeah, they make it sound all peachy, right? It's all peaches and cream from here, right? It says, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man. Because Esau, all he does is smell blood at the end of the day, right? So it says, Different countries are at different stages of exploration, ranging from initial research to full implementation. All right. And that's us down here in Australia. We just signed the bill. Currently, 11 countries have implemented a CBDC: the Bahamas, Jamaica, Nigeria, and members of Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. The Bahamas was the first to adopt and launched the sand dollar in 2020 to increase financial inclusion for a population that lives on a series of 700 islands, some of which have limited access to cash machines, banking services. Increasing financial inclusion was one reason Nigeria introduced its Inara in 2021. About a third of Nigerians do not have bank accounts. China began a pilot phase for its CBDC in 2020. So it says there are several motivations to issue a CBDC, including a reduction of transaction settlement time and costs. See how they try to spin it? This is how they're going to sell it. Improving financial inclusion, accessing money in case of emergency or a natural disaster, and to counter criminal activity. When they use current systems, migrants sending money back to people in their home country are hit with an average charge on the transaction of 6.25%, according to the World Bank. International payments often take 1 or 2 days, but some can take 5. All right. It's funny how on the day you have a utility bill or whatever scheduled to come out on payment, they'll take that shit right there. But the moment they mess up, all right, and they got to pay you back, all right, it takes up to 3 to 5 business days for that money to come back. The nerve. But anyway, it says with CBDCs, the cost of these cross-border transactions and payments could be reduced, and they could be completed within seconds at any time of the day. However, each country will have its own sovereign approach to implementing a CBDC. However, each country will have its own sovereign approach to implementing a CBDC. Now, what did it? Oh, okay. Oh, they tripping. Now, remember, one of the Rockefellers said what? I believe it was what, Nick Rockefeller, if I'm not mistaken. Let's come back over here. I think it was Nick. I could be wrong. Something to that effect. Yep. Let me see here. Nathan Rothschild. All right. Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. All right. You can look this up. Okay. So, Salaki, I said Nick, it's actually Nathan. So, did Nathan Rothschild really say, which he did? You can look it up. Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws, man. Because who's in the power? All right. Esau, Edom. All right. You have what's called the 13 Bacon families. Look them up. So, hey, let me read that again. It says, however, each country will have its own sovereign approach to implementing a CBDC. There are distinct regional interests at play. By taking these different interests and priorities into account, aligning with areas of common interest and adhering to interoperability principles, CBDC should be able to make steady progress, leading to more efficient and interconnected digital payment systems. Ultimately, a globally coordinated approach is needed to facilitate seamless domestic and cross-border transactions, enhance financially inclusivity, Salakia, and contribute to the advancement of the global digital economy. Now you understand that this is going to be a global thing. This is what these devils are trying to do, man. Okay, but we got some more. Let's come over here because, matter of fact, you know what? Let's visit this, man. Let's go to Revelation. Okay, chapter 13 and verse 16. It says, "And he causeth all, right, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark or charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads." Now we understand when you go into that word mark and break it down, the word charagma, okay, which means an incision when you really go into it, right? and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. Now, funny thing is, to show you that some of these scholars, they understand that the M.O.T.B, which is the micro C-HIP, is indeed an RFID C-HIP. Now, this is from John Brown, one of the top scholars here in the Blue Letter Bible commentary, which says, and they quoted Revelation 13 and 16. Now, Strong's G 5480 charagma equals a thing carved, sculpture, graven work. Strong's G 5482 charax, which is the etymology of the word charagma, which means to sharpen to a point through the idea of scratching. This sounds a lot like a hypodermic needle piercing the skin. If you remember last week, we pointed out that the number 666 had a name, and that name was chi psi stigma. Strong's G Salakia 4742 stigma, from stitzo to stick or prick, equals a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. One of Webster's dictionary calls stigma a small spot, scar, or opening on a plant or animal. In the roundabout, or in the readout of this micro C-HIP, there were 9 levels of information that the designers wanted included. They were, watch this, name, an image or picture of your face. They also wanted social security numbers with the extra international digits. A fingerprint identification was also to be included. Physical description, family history, address, criminal record, occupation, and income tax information. Do you not see? Do you not see what this is? Do you not see what's going on? It says Strong's G 5481 character, when you break it down, and an impression, the exact expression, the image of any person or thing, marked likeness, precise reproduction in every respect, facsimile. This micro C-HIP has exactly that, and an express image of its recipient. See, they know what time it is, man. They know what time it is. You can't get past this. Now, remember when I said, think about 2020, the pandemic, never let a good crisis go to waste. Watch this. Let's come over here. All right. Because they see Esau needed the right wag the dog tail of event to be able to implement this system. And what better way to bring it by using what we went through 3 years, almost 4 years ago. Now, check this out. Fair use. All right. Fair use. Actually, I'm not even going to play it. The sound. We just play the video. Now, notice what he's doing. Imagine showing you see it, passport with just a flash of your arm. This Swedish company says it has a C-HIP that can hold information about your V status. It's so small you can embed it into your arm, right? But we know the scriptures, because look, some people may get in their arm, all right. But more importantly, like you see here on this screen here, Sweden sees micro C-HIP implant revolution, and notice she's pointing to her wrist. It's going in her right hand or forehead, right? But we're going to get into that. It says the C-HIP uses pre-existing technology that firm was already developing. And see, that's what's going to get a lot of Jakes. Jakes they're going to want this, the C-HIP, purely based off the fact that they can open up doors and car doors and all of that in the third, man. And that's why we told y'all, man, be rooted in the faith, man, because you're going to be tempted. Stockholm-based Epic Center has been working on human compatible tech for years. Human compatible tech, right? But yeah, you can look this video up. It's called, just look up, all right, that passport. That's all you got to do. All right, just look that up. Pause the video when you watch this and watch it, you know, because I don't want to be hit with copyright. But anyway, and then you not only have that, but you got this guy right here, man. Let's take a listen.
Elon Musk is saying his Neuralink company has successfully implanted one of its wireless brain chips in a human for the first time. He made the announcement on X, his social media platform, saying the procedure happened on Sunday. He says the subject is recovering well and that initial results show a promising neuron spike detection. Mr. Musk says the product has been given the name telepathy, and the plan is for it to enable control of a phone, computer, or almost any linked device just by thinking about them. Several rival companies have already implanted what are known as brain-computer interface systems in humans after tests were carried out initially on monkeys. With more, here's our North America correspondent, Peter Bowes.
What Elon Musk's Neuralink is trying to do is what a number of other companies have been attempting for quite a while now, and that is essentially to create a brain-computer interface that will allow a human being to carry out an action through thought alone. Now, it involves implanting a number of microchips into the brain that connect to a part of the brain that is responsible for movement intention. It has the effect that wirelessly it can send a signal to an app that can interpret a person's intentions. It sounds very futuristic, but according to Elon Musk, he says in a post on X, he elaborates a little bit, saying that this device will enable control of your phone or computer, and through them almost any device just by thinking. He says initial users will be those who have lost use of their limbs. It seems they're targeting people with debilitating neurological conditions. Now,
And right, and the reason they doing that is because when you show the masses, the people, that you have the power through means of technology, your pseudoscience, right? Obviously, you're going to go after the weak to say, ha, look, we have this new technology. You want to walk again. You want to be able to think before you do stuff. You want to be able to make purchases without having to use your card, your wallet, your phone. This is the next big thing, man. And so then they tackle people that suffer health conditions. And then when they put this new form of technology within their body, that's their selling point, to show everybody, look at this person. He's now doing a lot better. We have the technology. We have this. We have that. You see where this is going?
it should be stressed that this study is in the early stages. His company was given the go-ahead only last year by US regulators to carry out this human trial.
US regulators. So you see, they're pushing the envelope, man. They gave this dude the go-ahead to do that. And then at the same time, all right, you don't want to get it in your head, you're going to have the option to get in your hand. But either way, doesn't matter where you decide to get it. The point is, if you don't get it, you will not be able to take part of society, man.
Which is in the safety assessment stages. And clearly there is a lot to assess over the following months and years, question mark over whether this device will still be operating as it is designed after 3 months, 6 months, possibly a few years. And
right. But as you can see, okay, this is where we at, man. Okay. All right. Digital ID bill passes Senate here in Australia. All right. So I'm gearing to close out. That's pretty much I wanted to grab on there. Lord's will, this was edifying. Just went over, an hour. So with that, giving all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Kodash, and double honors once again to the beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Lord's will, you was edified, and so on to the next. Shalom.